The idea of the Western Rattler 300 began in a brainstorming session. What if there was a big race to open the 2022 racing season at Penticton Speedway? With a big field of late model cars, with drivers from all over Canada, and of course, a big payday for the winner. It was an idea that Speedway owners Trevor and Ingo Siebert kicked around for a while, one they couldn't let go of. The extensive renovations and reconfiguring of the 50-year-old Speedway had given new life to the facility and now featured side-by-side racing action. Following an abbreviated season, the Speedway ownership group wanted a big kickoff event for 2022. They got it. That's how the Western Rattler came to life. There would be a $65,000 purse, with a 300-lap race winner taking home $10,000. The first annual Western Rattler 300 was officially announced in January, and immediately drivers from across the country took notice. The entry forms flowed in. Now drivers from coast to coast are here at Penticton Speedway. The Western Rattler is a reality. Practice and qualifying are done. It's time to get after it for 300 laps of racing action to kick off the 2022 season. Let's go trackside and join Cole Sorensen and meet the starting lineup for tonight's race.
Yes, now it is time to meet your late model field. We'll start with the man on the inside right here out of Red Deer, Alberta, car number 36. He's got 3 previous starts out here at Penticton Speedway. Grant Brown lining up and ready to go for tonight's Western Rattler 300. Got this car from New Brunswick in the off-season and making his debut at Penticton Speedway. Tony Terrence behind the wheel of car number 15. 51 car defending West Car champion from 2021 out of Quesnel, Jarrett Bond in car number 51. Moving on now to the inside, driver out of Edmonton in car number 53, making his late model debut here at Penticton Speedway. He's had previous starts in the RS1 series. This is Adam Dowler in car number 53. Had a little bit of a rough go in the Baker's Dozen qualifier, had to pull in early, but watch for him to charge through the field later on. This is Jeff Cameron in car number 67. This car, a guy who had a very strong run last night at the Baker's Dozen, was leading the race before he had a mechanical black flag from Kelowna. This is Steve Lingard in car number 56. All right, we'll keep on rolling. The number 19 car, watch for this driver to come up through the field. 3-time Canada 200 winner and a 3-time champion with the ARCA OK Tire Sportsman Series here on the West Coast. This is Corbin Thomas out of White Rock. Long toe down from Kitimat. How about giving it up for Trevor Reinhardt in car number 60? And made his first full season with the Keg Late Model Series Championship over on the island. Car number 4 from Victoria, Kyle Cottam. Car number 3, usually it's car number 21, a man who has plenty of experience here at Penticton Speedway, back behind the wheel of a late model. This is Jason White in car number 3. And in the 34 car, coming to us out of Prince George, he won $2,500 last night in the Baker's Dozen qualifier race. This is Daryl Horwath in car number 34. The other half of the Dowler brothers in the number 35 car. This is Noel Dowler Jr. in car number 35, coming to us out of Edmonton. The other half of the White brothers, fittingly, in the number 29 machine, driving it for Shane Harding. This is Jim White in car number 29. Making the tow from Saskatoon, his first visit here to Penticton Speedway, Matthew Shirley in car number 12. Give it up for Matt. The second Mopar in the field for the folks at Northern Provincial Pipelines. From Sydney over on the island, this is Daryl Midgley in car number 81. In 8th in the number 69 car, one of the owners here at Penticton Speedway. He's won in everything from Toyota Atlantic to the Players GM Challenge Series, trying to win the Western Rattler 300. This is Trevor Siebert in car number 69. All right, we'll move on now to our 7th place qualifier, the number 92 car. The 2016 West Car champion out of Terrace, BC. This is Logan Jewell in car number 92. The other half of the Lake Excavating racing team at Avion Motorsports, the 09 car, he had a win here in the RS1 series last season. Riley Siebert in car number 09. And who had the longest tow out of anybody to race here this weekend, coming out of Nova Scotia, Kyle Reed in the 42. And now starting in fourth, your defending Penticton Speedway late model champion. Out of Caledon in car number 1, Matt Stephenson behind the wheel of the 1 car. Moving on now to our third place qualifier. He has a Canada 200 win to his credit at West Shore Motorsports Park. Also a late model champion at that facility. It is Brandon Carlson out of Sandwichdon on the island. The number 8 car out of Edmonton, he has experience in everything from the ARCA Menards West Series to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. This is Kelly Admiral in car number 8. And the man who qualified quickest yesterday and will start on the pole for the Western Rattler 300 here at Penticton Speedway. Out of Pit Meadows, car number 10, Wes Mader.
Down to Todd Lewis, down on pit road.
Watch for these top 12. They haven't basically been out on track since they qualified. Did not have to run the qualifying race. Fresh tires. Haven't run much, though. It'll be interesting to see how these cars do under very different conditions than qualifying as we get set to go green.
The field getting the bunch it up in a 2x2 formation signal. The lights are off on the Avion Motorsports Penticton Speedway Camaro pace car. Kelly Admiral and Wes Mader will lead your field to the green for the first annual Western Rattler 300, and we are racing.
We're green, and Mader gets a good jump on him. He's going to lead him down. He goes to the bottom right away. Off of turn 1, he'll lead the 2, lead them down the backstretch.
Wes Mader out in front, Brandon Carlson around the outside of the 8 car. Oh, and a spin for Matt Stephenson in the 1 on lap number 1. And already we have a yellow flag, and we didn't even make it through lap 1. Joe, we should explain, 150 lap segment here in the first half. They'll have a 7-minute break to put fuel in, do tires some service, and then another 150 to finish it off. But first we got to get through lap 1. All right, let's line them up and try it again. Kelly Admiral, Wes Mader still your front row as we come off at turn number 4. We're green once more in the Western Rattler 300.
Mader gets a jump and he's going to drive it down in on the bottom. He'll take the bottom around Carlson up on the outside going down the backstretch.
Brandon Carlson to the high side. He is side by side with the 10 right now.
Mader driving deep down in and sparks flying off of Mader, but Carlson will stick it up on the outside. Door handle to door handle down the back.
Carlson trying to clear Mader, couldn't quite do it as the 10 car comes back strong on the outside, but Carlson's going to use that momentum on the outside built up to try and clear him down the back straight, Brad.
Carlson will get the advantage of it too. He may clear Mader down, going down into 3 and 4. He does, and he will take the lead on lap 3 here at the 300 lap Rattler.
Carlson loves the high side of the racetrack. Watch the 14 car and listen to that car, Brad. When you hear this car, he's revving it like right up there.
The 14 car Joe's a built motor, so you really hear it rubbing and hauling horsepower down the backstretch. It'd be interesting to see what he's got left for tires late in the race. As Mader works his way back to his back bumper, down into 1, they'll gather it up. They'll go nose to tail down the backstretch. Reed up into 3rd.
Yeah, Kyle Reed from Cape Breton in the 42 car, the longest tow out of any of the competitors, going to the inside of Matt Stephenson, the defending Penticton Speedway late model track champion for the 3rd spot. And Reed is on the move early. He wants that track position and trying to get out front so he can ride for the rest of this 150, Brad.
Yeah, back to the 4th spot. Have a look at it. Kyle Reed in the 42 Robbie's machine. He's on the move, Brad, man.
He is. He wants to get in that spot to clear the 1 car. But the 1 car, Stevenson's still hanging on. They'll go door handle to door handle through the bottom with advantage to Stevenson off of turn 2.
Brandon Carlson still out in front, now building out a little bit of breathing room over Wes Mader as Kyle Reed running hard to the inside of the racetrack, trying to stick with Stephenson as they head down the back straight. Stephenson looks like he might clear him as they go through 3 and 4 and off of turn number 4. Stephenson back up to 3rd.
Logan Jewell also on the move in that 92 car. He's in the 5th slot right now. That 92 car, Brad, we seen him very quick in practice on Thursday when we got here. He's still going to rock it under him.
He was quick, Joe. He's been quick all weekend. He's got the Darrell Waltrip color scheme on that car. Nice and shiny.
Stephenson now with one car going to the inside of the 10 of Wes Mader for the second spot. Now going to the inside of Carlson for the lead. Matt Stephenson out of Khalid and not wasting any time, and he's going to clear Carlson to the top spot, Brad.
Stevenson's also been fast all weekend, but he's gone to the front in a hurry. And Reed has moved up to second with Carlson on the outside third.
New leader, 13 laps in, as Stephenson goes up front. Back to the book. Carlson back to third now, and Kyle Reed up into that second spot. Things are changing fast here.
I think Carlson, after getting a taste of the lead now, is content to maybe slip back and ride as Wes Mader in the 10 car to the inside of him for the 4th spot. As now Kyle Reed, the 42, is closing in on Stephenson, already putting a lap on the 60 car out of Kitimat as they come off the turn number 4. Brad, man, Reed is on the move.
Reed is on the move. He's got a good hot rod under him, riding the tail coats of the number 1 car, Stevenson. He's right there. One little bobble by Stevenson. Reed looks underneath him down the front straightaway. He'll stuff it in here in the bottom between 1 and 2. Reed will drive off 1 and 2, going for the lead down the backstretch. Reed gets a little advantage over Stevenson.
And here he comes back to the line, gives the lead on lap 18 to the number 42 of Kyle Reed. He's got that Robbie's machine, a lion out there. The 1 is in second. Carlson, the 14, he's coming back. He's into the 3rd slot. Vader 4, back to the 92. There's your top 5.
Reed really opening up the gap. He's got about a 10-car lead on the second place Stevenson. Reed with the whole track to himself, really putting some distance here. All the way from Cape Breton, leading this field around on lap 20.
Reed to the lead, has a nice ring to it as Brandon Carlson trying to get to the inside of Stephenson for that 2nd spot. Wes Mader right there, Logan Jewell, Matthew Shirley from Saskatoon trying to take a peek to the outside of Jewell as they deal with lap traffic already early on in this one, but Kyle Reed really stretching his legs in the 42 car as Carlson taking another peek to the inside of him, Joe.
Yeah, tiptoeing through the tulips on lap 22 is Matt Shirley in the 12 car. He is just outside that top 5. And how about this? Siebert is right up alongside him in the 09.
So Siebert's been fast all week. He knows the track and the third owners. Lots of laps around this track for them. But you can put a blanket over second place all the way back to 10th. They're really going at it here early on lap 24.
They are going at it as Carlson to the inside. You can see it from the drone shot for those of you watching on Rev TV as the 1 of Stephenson still has that momentum. And Brad, that's the good thing about that progressive banking in 3 and 4. You can carry a lot of speed around the top.
Now Stevenson washes up the racetrack. Carlson looking to get under him for that 2nd spot. He's there on the bottom. Can he get it done? Driving deep down into the here. Carlson will get a ledge coming off at 2. He's going to take that 2nd spot away.
26 laps complete. The 42 of Kyle Reed out front, followed by Brendan Carlson and the 14 back to Stevenson in the 1.
Logan Jewell kind of stuck on the inside there in the battle for the 5th spot as they come off of turn 4. You can see Jewell just in back of the shot on Rev TV going side by side with Matthew Shirley as they work their way through 1 and 2. Kyle Reed still comfortably out in front, but Brandon Carlson starting to eat away a little bit at the gap to the race leader Kyle Reed, who streaked away early on in this one.
Vader settles into 4th. He was the middle center. And on the move is a 12 car Shirley. He was fast all weekend. He settles into 5th.
Look at Jimmy White, the 29 car now to the outside of the 92. White's up to 6, looking to try and crack the top 5 as Matthew Shirley now putting the pressure on Wes Mader, Joe.
This is how competitive this field is here tonight at Penticton Speedway. The Western Rattler 300. 31 laps complete. The 42 of Reed leads the race. Not a lap car yet, Bradman.
He's set a torrid pace. He's certainly running hard, but the 14 eating away at it. Either that or the 42 of Reed is backing off and saving the car a little bit. He did tell me he wasn't going to be hard on it until after lap 150. That's out the window. He's running away. Scared Rabbit down the backstretch with about a 7-car lead.
Jimmy White, the 29, now cracking the top 5 as Matthew Shirley has found his way up to 4th, getting a shot at just how spread out the field is on the drone cam as Kyle Reed continuing to hold station over the rest of the field with Brandon Carlson, the 14 car back there in second. Stephenson now getting pressured by Matthew Shirley, Brad.
They certainly are, and now the Siebert cars are lined up. They were bumper to bumper, but they got a little spread out. As Rowley got an advantage. Moved up. Stevenson is continuing to run in second, but he's got company. Here comes the 12 car. Shirley looking to take away the 3rd place away from Stevenson.
Matt Shirley now up into that top 5. He is making some forward progress. You gotta use patience, Cole, but you can't hang around. You gotta go.
Yeah, there is a time to go, a time to hold station, and Matthew Shirley, who started 10th, has worked his way already up to 3rd. And now, after dispatching of Matthew Stephenson in the 1 car, he is rapidly closing to put some pressure on the number 14 of Carlson. Here comes the 12 to the inside, Brad, of Carlson for
Shirley
1 2.
drives it in deep under Carlson, but Carlson pulls, but they go side by side. Carlson the advantage off it too. Gets a little better grip, and he'll pull him off the 4 also.
Shirley's car is really working good on the bottom. You see pretty much all of the other cars running about a lane up from the outside. Oh, we got a spinner in turn number 4 as your leaders come by. Spin in turn number 4.
And we're still under green. The caution finally comes out. I did notice, guys, the 56 car on the last lap starting to smoke out the back again like last night. So we'll have to keep an eye. There may be something going wrong on the back end of that 56 race car.
This will be a quickie caution. You can pretty well guarantee that. Let's set the stage for you. 40 laps complete of tonight's Western Rattler 300 live from Penticton Speedway. Been a barn burner so far.
As your field gets a signal to bunch it up to 2x2 formation here for the restart. The number 15 machine getting the wave by Tony Terrence. And Joe, we're going to go green when they come off at turn 4 with Kyle Reed out front.
Absolutely. Comers are the 29 of Jim White. He is on his way up as the green flags back up.
Reed gets a good start, but he's got some company on the outside, but he makes short work of that. Drives it through the bottom, takes the lead down the backstretch.
Kyle Reed, no problems clearing Carlson in the 14 car. Matt Shirley now in the 12 is going to try and take a peek to the inside of Carlson. Shirley now with Stephenson on his outside in the 1.
Shirley looking to gain some ground on the backstretch. That 12 cars come up through in a hurry. Been strong all weekend. Reed will lead them down into 1. He is followed by Stephenson on the outside.
Into 3 and 4, Kyle Reed out in front. Matt Stephenson clearing Shirley, but look at Riley Siebert in the 09 car utilizing the restart to get up inside of the top 5. Now to the outside of Matthew Shirley in that 09 car, Joe.
Riley Siebert, also a pilot out here in BC. He's piloting that 09 right now. That lake excavation machine is on the move. He's side by side with the 12 car, Shirley, and there is a juggernaut right there, Brad.
Reed continues to lead the foul, but washed up the racetrack as a 14, and one of Stevenson will take the 2nd position away from him.
The number 1 up to 2nd, and Riley Siebert now to the inside of the 14 of Brandon Carlson for the 3rd spot. Carlson running way wide, giving Siebert plenty of real estate to work with. As Siebert now trying to track down the 1 car for the 2nd spot.
A 42 of Kyle Reed is setting a perfect pace here with 47 laps complete of tonight's Western Rattler 300, all live from Penticton Speedway. There is a side-by-side battle with Riley Siebert and the 1 car, Brad. That's a heating up battle. They're going to burn the tires up if they do that for too long.
Siebert drives under the bottom of 1 and 2, but the 1 car, Stevenson, has more pull up off the outside. So Siebert will settle back into the 3rd position. Single file down the backstretch. Kyle Reed's lead is shortening up about 3 cars back. Stevenson on the move.
He is not having as much of a cushion as he did before the yellow, to say the least, as Kyle Reed has Matt Stephenson, the one car, breathing down his neck. The blue and yellow machine. Riley Siebert up to third, Matthew Shirley up to fourth, and now Jimmy White. Joe going to the inside of Brandon Carlson for the fourth spot.
Yeah, I'm seeing a shower of sparks coming out from the 14 car in the turn. 3-4. Not sure, Brad, whether he's got something dragging or whether it's just the pressure.
What's happening is the 14 car Carlson is actually bottoming out on the left rear down here in 1 and 2 and making the race car chase up the racetrack. So I don't know if he's got a tire going down or what, but the shower sparks off him. That may be the Panar bar on the back rubbing also.
53 laps complete as the leader crosses the line, making 54. The 42 of Kyle Reed leading Cole right now.
Yes, Kyle Reed coming off of turn number 4 as we see Trevor Siebert on the broadcast moving around Brandon Carlson, trying to track down the 29 to Jimmy White for the final spot in the top 5, but Reed has 2 lap cars right in front of him. That could allow Stephenson to close up as Reed going to the inside of him through 1 and 2, Brad.
He does. He splits the lap car. He's going to go under the other lap car with a Terrence on the back stretch of the 15 to take the lead back over. He clears them both. The 15 washed up the racetrack. Stevenson almost got caught up with him.
Down the back straight they go. Siebert now clear the lap traffic in the 09 car in third, trying to stay with Stephenson. Matthew Shirley back there in fourth to the inside of lap traffic as well. Jimmy White holding down the final spot in the top 5 as Kyle Reed continuing to lead the way, Joe.
Guys, things are moving here real good. 58 laps complete. We are going to step out, take a quick 2-minute break, and we will come back to you live. You won't miss a thing. Here live tonight on Race Time Radio. We'll be right back, everybody. Well, tell you what, we won't go anywhere. Just as I was going to cue that up, we got a problem on the back stretch. Let's cover that off before we hit the break.
Jim White, the 29 car, who was running in 5th, looks like he had some problems with lap traffic. Trevor Reinert in the 60 with some damage to the front of his machine. Jim White, the side ripped off the right side of the 29. He'll head into the pits, and we will head to a commercial break on Rev and Sirius XM.
And we're back with you live from Penticton Speedway. It's Western Rattler 300. And we are under yellow. Let's throw it down to Todd Lewis, shall we, Todd? What's happening down there, bud?
Having a look at the 29 of Jim White, who was involved in that incident out on track. The crew has spent this entire time securing bodywork and also trying to make sure there was no suspension damage up at the front. Their work is done. They're sending him back out. Brandon Carlson also made a stop along pit road, had a right front tire going down, and there you see the car of Trevor Reiner that was involved as well. Left front is down, damage severe on that 60 machine.
Well, your race leader currently is a 42 car, Kyle Reed, out in front with number 1, Matt Stephenson, defending Penticton Speedway track champion, lining up second for the restart. Then it's a 09 Riley Siebert, the number 12 Matthew Shirley, 69 Trevor Siebert, 92 Logan Jewell, 35 Noel Dowler Jr., the 3 Jason White, Daryl Horwath in the 34, Daryl Midgley, the 81, the 19 of Corbin Thomas, 51 of Jarrett Bond. Pace car is in, and off at turn number 4, we're green once again.
So Stevenson gets a bit of a jump, but Reed will shove it down into 1 and 2. Stevenson a little sideways, Reed some power to it down the backstretch, takes the lead back.
Working their way off of 4, Kyle Reed clears Stephenson again in the number 1 machine. Riley Siebert, the 09 in third. The 12 of Matthew Shirley having to deal with Trevor Siebert now in the 69 car as they go side by side. The elder Siebert in that 69 is up into 4th, Brad Mann.
So it's a Siebert combination, father-son in this field. So far the son is in front, but the father's a chasing. And we always know experience pays, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Siebert racing plan.
Here comes Riley Siebert in that 09 car. Man, he's got it on the move. That McCall chassis is ripping. A little history behind that car. Shepard drove that in the ABC series last year. You know that's a good piece as Riley takes over second. The 42 of Reed in that Fury machine still out front.
So as Siebert settles into second, chasing Reed, Stevenson will settle back into third. Single file, the top 5, bumper to bumper.
Kyle Reed, that 42 car, could have pressure from Riley Siebert in the 09, and it'll be the first time since he took the lead that he'll have somebody closing in on him, as Stephenson kind of closing in as well back on Siebert. The 69 car of Trevor Siebert sits in fourth, and he's trying to join the party as well, Brad.
He does, but Reed will enjoy when the 69 or the 9 of Siebert and Stevenson race each other hard. It lets Reed get a little breathing room up front. He continues to lead, but Siebert is closing the gap.
Which one? We got 2 of them in the top 5. Riley in second, Trevor back in fourth spot. But, I want to point this out too, the 14 of Carlson that was just on pit road, back on lap 58. He's in the top 10. He's on the move, though.
And that was probably that tire going down that caused the bottoming out that Brad was mentioning. And now that Carlson's got it all aired up and good to go, he is working his way up through the field. But Riley Siebert is about to be knocking on the back door of Kyle Reed as they work their way into 1 and 2, Brad.
They do. Reed's got company for the first time. It's 1, 2, 3. But Siebert is close, 2 car lengths behind. Close as anybody's been to Reed all night long.
69 laps, but now 70. Another guy that is coming through the field, but doing it very patiently. The 19 car of Corbin Thomas, a crafty veteran, a West Car champion. This guy is a staple on the West Coast, and he is in this one, coming up through the field. But we're about to have a battle for the lead, and the 42 of Reed still has it, but the 09 is right there, Brad.
Siebert drives under Reed. He'll take the lead, edge him out down the backstretch. Siebert really stuck it in, and he's going to come off a 4. They're side by side again. Down into 1 and 2. Siebert drives it in deep. Kyle washes up the racetrack, but he'll fight back on the outside. He's going to settle into second. It'll be Siebert to the lead.
Riley Siebert, if you saw on Facebook before this race, said if anybody comes to my playground and thinks I'm going to lay over for him, think again. And he's proving that by taking the top spot in 09 as their leaders come off of turn number 4 with lap traffic in front of them.
It is lap traffic ahead, and it is some good cars that they're rolling up on right now. As you see, the 8 of Kelly Admiral still maybe struggling with that car, like you can't count him out. They're only 76 laps in to the Rattler 300 live from Penticton.
Field streams through 3 and 4 as Daryl Horwath back further in the pack. You saw him making a move on Logan Jewell. Jewell, these last few laps, has really been struggling in that 92 car. As there's Corbin Thomas working his way up through the field. Jim White as well, back to your race leaders. The 09 of Siebert trying to hang on. Jim White, there you can see working his way through the tail of the field. Wes Mader back there after making some changes as well. Daryl Midgley, Brandon Carlson, or rather Corbin Thomas in the other red car.
Just seeing the 3 car of Jason White coming down the front stretch, and the right side body panel starting to catch air. Looking a lot like the 56 Superstock just last night. The 3, Jason White, though, has still got a good car. That side is flapping, though, Brad.
The leaders in heavy traffic, and don't look now, but they're about to lap the 08 car who's been fast all weekend. He's about to go a lap down. Reed still sitting in second, Siebert leading. Stevenson up on the back bumper. They got a couple lap cars in front of them. Nose to tail down the backstretch.
Yeah, Stephenson is going to try and make a move here on Reed as Reed is held up just a little bit by Tony Terrence in the 15 car, but Riley Siebert through lap traffic, opening up his advantage, Joe, over the rest of the field.
Yeah, he sure is. Todd Lewis, you're down pit road. You see the 3. Are they working on that right side?
The 3 car is not worried about the right side right now. Jason White has been able to climb through the field after starting heat. He wasn't sure about how much motor he had in that car, but he's been able to climb through that so far. But yeah, the sparks are flying right now on the 3 car.
And that is that work, trying to get that bodywork either attached or they're just going to take it off the side of the 3-car. Meanwhile, back up front, Kelly Admiral going a lap down in the 8th, the man who started on the front row, and he has fallen after that tire pressure adjustment.
Avery from Rust Brothers, Rust Valley, would have been real proud watching the side of that 3-car come off and send them back out. Brad Mann, 86 laps complete. And Riley's doing a great job at the front of the field.
He did, but Kyle Reed just washed up the racetrack in 1 and 2, and that's how Stevenson got around him. He really washed up in the middle of 1 and 2, and he does again. So the handling going away a little bit on the 42, Kyle Reed.
Also into the picture, how about the 69 of Trevor Siebert? We're going to have to do them at the front of the field if they keep this up goal.
Trevor Siebert on the back bumper of the 42, but Reed sits in 3rd. Trevor Siebert sits in 4th. Meanwhile, the 12 car Shirley sits back. That's the top 5 here as they set a torrid pace on lap 89.
Working their way through 3 and 4. You can see on the live stream high atop Penticton Speedway into 1 and 2. Riley Siebert, the 09 car, leads the way. Matt Stephenson in 2nd as they head down the back straight. Siebert just entering 3 with Stephenson behind him. Reed back there in 3rd. Trevor Siebert in 4th. And the top 4 right now are breaking away from everybody else.
91 laps complete tonight at the Western Rattler 300. Coming to you home live from Penticton Speedway on Sirius XM Channel 167 Penalties. And how about Rev TV Canada? You can watch it. Get Rev.
Meanwhile, Siebert continues to lead through some lap traffic. Stevenson sits in 2nd. Kyle Reed 3rd. Trevor Siebert 4th. And they're in some heavy lap traffic.
Working their way through that lap traffic has been Siebert's specialty as they head off of turn number 2 right now down the back straight. Siebert to the inside of Steve Lingard. In the 56 car, Stephenson about 2-3 car lengths behind him as they head into 1 and 2.
I'm looking back a little bit into that top 5. Matt Shirley in the 12 car. Comfortably sitting in that 5th spot. Nobody ahead, nobody behind. He's by himself logging laps. Brad, 96 complete.
96 laps in the book, and it's been a torrid pace. We've only had a couple of cautions here, Joe, but these guys are not slowing down a bit. Lots of give and take, a lot of respect on the racetrack has kept the caution flags from flowing here at the Speedway.
Riley Siebert and Matt Stephenson are starting to put a bit of distance now on the 42 of Kyle Reed. Reed still with Trevor Siebert 2 car lengths behind him as the number 12 of Matthew Shirley starting to close in there. The blue is
the 56 is around here in turn 1 and 2, heavy into the wall to bring out the caution.
That's Steve Lingard in the 56 machine out of Kelowna. Steve had a lot of speed last night in the Baker's Dozen qualifier, did some damage to that race car. Wasn't quite handling right, it seems, from the get-go, and unfortunately Steve getting into that inside wall, Joe.
Yeah, he sure did. 97 laps complete.
Quite a bit of distance for these guys still to go, as there you get a look on Rev TV as well as Shaw Spotlight. Heavy damage to the front of the 56 of Steve Lingard, and looks like there is some damage in the steering department as well, not just fiberglass damage, as the Avion Motorsports and Penticton Speedway safety truck gets ready to tow it into the pits. Under yellow here at Penticton Speedway, lap number 97 being completed here for the Western Rattler 300, the first annual event and the season kickoff for the 2022 racing season at Penticton Speedway, as a 09 of Riley Siebert looking to take home the hometown win in that 09 machine.
The pace car is going to hit pit road. We're doubled up. 97 complete. We're coming back to green.
And it's Siebert gets the jump, but it's a little accompanied by Stevenson on the outside, but Siebert will drive away as he puts it on the bottom. And the Siebert number 69 rolls into the 3rd space around Reed.
Trevor Siebert with the momentum around the outside, and now Matt Stephenson finds himself in a Siebert sandwich. Siebert family feud could be coming up here as Matthew Shirley to the inside of Kyle Reed. Reed with problems. He's slowing big time on the outside of the racetrack.
I would say that the Reed 42 Reed car probably has a flat right rear as he's bottoming out, and round he goes. The 42 goes around and nobody touches him. Wow, a lucky break there as the 42 has a right rear going flat. Got completely around 1 and 2, 53 points towards him, but no damage with a single car spin. And we are under caution here in lap 98.
Good job on Noel Dowler there to get it woed up in the 53 car. As Brad mentioned, no damage, but the 42 of Kyle Reed, he's going to bring that Robbie machine down pit road and get some service done to it. Whatever the problem is,
the crew,
you can bet that Todd Lewis is going to have his feelers all over it.
That's exactly what it is, guys. He's rating to go onto the right front. Jack's gone under that. They're undoing all the lug nuts, and then they'll make that switch and send that 42 back out.
As soon as he started approaching the 100-lap mark, the back end started stepping out, and a lot of guys were struggling with traction here as the field gets the bunch it up signal, and we'll get ready to go back racing here when they come off at turn number 4, Joe.
Well, the leader from a while ago, the 42, Kyle Reed, he's at the back now, so he's got his work cut out. 98 laps complete. The Penticton Avion Motorsports Camaro pace car heading down the safety of pit road, side by side, 1:09 back to green.
So Siebert gets the jump again on Stevenson. Siebert to push it in the bottom, but he's got company. The other, they pile up in 1 and 2, but they straighten it out, and everybody gets clear.
It was a wad of cars as Jared Bond made it 3 wide. Matt Stephenson and Siebert going at it, trading a bit of paint for the race lead, not laying down. Trevor Siebert looking at this battle going on out of his front windshield. We got a yellow. Caution is out on the speedway, Joe, and I think Noel Dowler might have got a piece of the outside wall as Kyle Reed comes in, and yes, Dowler with some damage as he ducks into the pits.
That was a major, what a pileup. It was a 4 o'clock traffic jam on the 401, Joe.
Todd's down there. Todd, take it away.
Same situation on the 35 of Noel Dowler. The right front tire, same as the 42, been replaced. They also tried to secure some of that body work, make sure that there was no front end damage. Lay on a little more tape on that fiberglass, and Noel Dowler is going to put it in gear and fire away.
Always good when you can just rip the fender off in that situation and it doesn't get anything in the right front or anything in the steering department as Noel Dowler gets ready to head back out onto the racetrack.
Side by side. Cole, here we go.
Riley Siebert leading him back to the green off of turn number 4. Stomping on the loud pedal, Brad Mann. They're 3 wide towards you.
They do. Stevenson got a good jump, but Siebert's going to take it away from him. Meanwhile, the second Siebert car is looking to take that second spot away. We could have 2 Siebert cars, 1-2 here shortly. Stevenson fighting hard back on the outside. Trevor Siebert drives it in deep on the bottom. He'll pull him off at 2 going down the backstretch.
It could be a Siebert family. 1-2 is the 69 to the inside of the number 1 is Stephenson. And look who is back inside the top 5. The number 29 of Jimmy White with no hood and the side hanging off of it is going to the inside of Matt Stephenson now for the 3rd spot.
The only Siebert we're missing out there, Dingo, along with Bryson. We got the whole family up front. They're running 1-2. Stevenson in 3rd. Jimmy White in the 29 car. Don't know whether you've seen it, Brad, but on that last restart, Jimmy shot up the inside of the racetrack and picked up a bunch of spots.
We still got a lot of sparks coming off the back, right rear of the 42 car. Whatever going on with it, you can see the sparks on the front straightaway coming off the Reed car.
Problems for Reed and how quickly his fortunes have changed, but back up front, Riley Siebert's trying to hold on in front of dear old dad in the 69. Trevor Siebert with Matt Stephenson in 3rd and Jimmy White. It doesn't look pretty, but it's running good in that 29 car as Siebert sliding up Trevor, that is, allowing the number 1 of Stephenson to his inside, Brad.
The 29 of Jimmy White was in the wall on the right straight by the flag stand the last lap by. It'll be interesting to see if he did damage the right front of that race car. Meanwhile, Stevenson gets under Siebert, under Trevor Siebert. He backs off, he lets him have the spot. Trevor Siebert will settle into second. Jimmy White fourth, going down the backstretch.
The 12 of Matthew Shirley back in that fifth spot. Who's got company now? The 14 car, Brandon Carlson, is on his way, and he is right with the 12 car. Kind of think the 14 wants to jump into that top 5.
And that just shows how that tire change is putting them right back into the game with that greatly timed yellow. Brandon not losing a whole lot of ground, not losing a lap, and now tacking on to the back of the top 5 as Riley Siebert now has Matt Stephenson back up into second in the 1. Trevor Siebert in third, Jimmy White fourth, Matthew Shirley fifth.
109 laps complete in tonight's Western Rattler 300, all 5 from Penticton Speedway. I'm Joe Simpson along with Brad Mann, Todd Lewis, and Cole Sorensen up here in the broadcast booth. We got the 09 Riley Siebert out front, the 1 car second, and oh, by the way, dear old dad, Trevor Siebert in third spot at 69 Lake Division Chevrolet. That thing is flying out here tonight.
35 had some trouble on the backstretch. I'd say he's cutting down another tire by the look of that. But Sparks starting to come away from the 14 car again. Same time as last time when he ran into trouble with the right rear. 14 sparking that up pretty good down here, 1 and 2.
As Trevor Siebert now fading back a little bit from Matt Stephenson in the 1. Stephenson putting the pressure on Riley Siebert as they go into turns 1 and 2. Riley out in front. It's a train around the rest of the racetrack as Trevor Siebert again sitting back there in the third spot. 29 and Jimmy White has worked his way back up to fourth. Matthew Shirley now pulling out a gap on Brandon Carlson. Brad
Mater starting to work his way back up as he's sitting sixth, but you can put a blanket over third, fourth, fifth, all running bumper to bumper. Meanwhile, up front, Siebert is running away with it. He opened up about a 6 car length over Stevenson, and Trevor Siebert sits in third with White riding along in fourth.
Riley Siebert setting a torrid pace out at the front of the field in that 09 car as they will be coming up quickly on some more lap traffic. Riley going through 3 and 4, and he is closing in on that 8 car. Kelly Admiral, who was looking oh so good throughout qualifying and now suffering from some problems as 2 cars pulling into the pits. Noel Dowler and Kyle Cottom as Riley Siebert continuing to lead the way, and Riley's going up a groove a little bit as he searches for some grip in the 09.
Yeah, he sure is. 119 laps completed, just about the halfway point. We're getting there, and these guys, Brad, send a quick pace. It'll be interesting to take a look at the tires on these cars at the halfway point.
The guy on the move, guys, is the 42 of Robbie Reed. Came from the back. He's all the way up to 6, and he is motoring.
After those problems, the 42 machine, Kyle Reed is again, as Brad mentioned, up on the wheel trying to charge back through the field as Riley Siebert catching up against the lap traffic, but Siebert is pulling out a nice cushion now over Matt Stephenson. Stephenson falling back in the 1 car, Joe.
Yeah.
Reed going around the 10 car Mater on the outside. That will move Reed into the 6th spot. He started at the back of the last caution. That 42 is motoring again towards the front.
Yeah, crew chief Andrew Hicken on that 42 car. He'll be definitely giving Kyle what he needs behind the wheel to make up the track that he has. 124 laps complete. What a race.
Riley Siebert getting through the lap traffic as Matthew Shirley is closing in on Jimmy White now for the 4th spot. Shirley in the blue 12 coming off of turn number 2, looking to the inside of White as they will go into turn number 3. White trying to get around the lapper of Adam Dowler as meanwhile look back further in the pack. Logan Jewell, the 92 car, Corbin Thomas battling, as well as the number 10 of Wes Mater as they work their way through 1 and 2 down the back straight. Brad Mann, Riley Siebert is on cruise control at the moment.
He is, but Stevenson is standing there both 3 car lengths back before Trevor Siebert's there. So the top 3 open up some distance away from 4th and 5th. But Riley Siebert is setting a torrid pace around here. No stranger to the track. He calls it his home turf. He's showing us why.
How about this? 128 laps complete. These guys are comfortable right now, logging laps. That's what they want to do. It's just pretty well stay where they're at, make it to the halfway point, and then get some adjustments. And much needed adjustments for some of these teams. As the caution flag flies, I believe we got the 3 of Jason White around down in turn number 1 and 2.
We do. It's a 3 car spun around up against the wall. I think it's a single car spin. He's got it going. Looks like this will be a quickie caution. He doesn't need any help from the tow truck. He's going to spin it around and he's going to join back to the field. The 3 car, no worse for the wear.
Todd Lewis, the 35 car has exited the machine.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating time for Noel Dowler. Noel, you climbed out of the car. What was the problem that's been bothering you since that right front went down?
Control arm bent on the after I hit the wall in the front straightaway, just trying to get a bigger and bigger arc. We're done for the night, but the car was fast. It was going to be good at lap 300, but tough one.
Sorry to see you out so early, Noel. Thanks.
Now, tough one for Noel Dowler. Love watching that guy behind the wheel of his car. He's been exciting for a number of years. You know, he always factors into these races, especially out here on his home turf. Up front, 129 laps complete. The 09, that's Riley Siebert, followed by the 1. And we got a lap car in there, then the 69 of Trevor Siebert, back to the 12 of Matthew Shirley. James White in the 29, round out your top 5 cars.
Riley Siebert, we'll see if he can get the jump on Matt Stephenson for the lead as they come off of 4. We are back green.
Siebert gets the jump. He spins the tires a little bit but gathers it up. But Trevor Siebert's going to slip into second. He's going to take second away as Stevenson washes up the track and White goes under him.
Stevenson losing a lot of track position in the 1 car as Jimmy White going up to the 3rd spot. Contact down the front straight. Wes Mader spins in the 10 car. And cautions, breathing cautions. Oh, and Matt Stephenson also, the 1 car who was in second on the restart, is stopped on the back straight. Stephenson now back up and running, but looks like he's going to duck into the pit area in that 1 tough break for the runner out of Cleveland, just down the road here from Penticton.
As the pace car is now going to hit pit road, the cars are in the center of 3-4 and coming back to the stripe. There we go.
Siebert against Siebert. It's the youngster against the dad. They go side by side underneath the 12 car, looking to take it away.
69 of Trevor Siebert now with Matthew Shirley to his inside for the 2nd spot, and Kyle Reed is up to 4th. But Brad, something's still sparking under the right side of Reed's car in the 42.
It has been ever since it went back, but it hasn't seemed to bother the car. He's been sparking ever since the pit stop, but that car is on rails, so I'm not sure. It might be just a fender skirt on the bottom, but it doesn't seem to be hurting the performance of that race car.
Both Siebert's out front right now. Riley leads Trevor Siebert. Back to Matthew Shirley in the 12. Kyle Reed in the 42 car. And back to Jim White in the 29. Just outside them, guys, the 19 car is right there. Corbin Thomas right up there into that 6 spot.
Kyle Reed drives it into 1 and 2. He's going to come out with 3rd place. He's going to drive away down the backstretch. Reed all the way up to 3rd.
He is on a tear right now. The 42 car from out in Nova Scotia is trying to make that long haul worth it for $10,000. And he only has, well, 2 Sieberts in front of him, Trevor and Riley. Riley in the 09, Trevor in the 69 as they come to you, Brad Mann.
You can put a blanket over Shirley and White as they go down to fight for the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th spot as they run bumper to bumper.
Don't look now, but Corbin Thomas in the red number 19. He's been at the tail for most of this, but he is getting ready to crack the top 5. One of the guys who ran the Baker's Dozen 100 last night, using those lessons learned in that race to work his way up through the field.
Meanwhile, Reed is putting the pressure on. He's starting to close the gap on Trevor Siebert for second place. Reed is there, about a car length and a half back. Sure, he's looking to take that spot before we get at the 150 break so he can restart up on the outside.
Riley Siebert starting to gap his dad in the 09, but Trevor is soon going to be busy with the 42 of Kyle Reed, who is trying to cap off his charge back up through the pack as we get to lap 140, 10 laps to go till the halfway break, Brad.
Siebert opens up a big lead. He's got a 10-car lead over his father. The battle is Reed trying to the back bumper. He closes up. Reed really getting through the bottom of 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Trevor Siebert washing up the racetrack a little bit. So that's the best battle on the field so far here in the closing laps. At 141, we will go to break at 150.
Kyle Reed, who was the class of the field early on. Riley Siebert, after Reed's problems, taking over from that. Daryl Horwath, Corbin Thomas going at it just outside of the top 5, the 19 and the 34. But Kyle Reed closing in quickly on Trevor Siebert, trying to find a way around him as the laps wind down to the halfway break, Brad.
Siebert, Reed drives in under the bottom, but Siebert on the outside pulls him off the backstretch. That's been the way it has been for the last 3 laps. Down here between 1 and 2.
Riley Siebert with a lot of breathing room between him and Dad Trevor as Kyle Reed took a peek to the inside of the 69 car. Siebert almost had to get out of it and gave up about 2 or 3 car lengths as they go into 1 and 2.
He had to give up or he was going to spin the 69 car, so he backed off rather than getting sent to the back. Smart move by the wheelman of the 42 car.
And that's something that you'll see early on in this one, but maybe not later on, as Matthew Shirley still hanging on to the 4th spot. Jimmy White back there in 5th as their field continues to work its way around, now sorting in a single file formation. After that restart, Shirley and White going at it as they come down the front straight.
147 is on the board right now. Just a few more circuits, and these guys are going to get a much-needed sip and adjustments, Brad.
The top 3 are way out front. They got a comfortable lead. The only battle really is second and third. And it looks like the 42 Reed's is going to settle down and finish these last couple of laps in third. And we'll see what adjustments they do at the halftime. But what a show they're putting on up in front of this Rattler 300 race.
And you know the spotter is talking with Reed, counting down those laps to make sure he saves his stuff here as we come up to lap number 150. They'll probably wait for the entire field to pass around before we get the yellow flag. The flagman has the yellow flag in hand, and the caution lights come on around the speedway, and we are getting ready for our halfway break. So everybody will head into the pits and have 7 minutes to fuel their cars back up, change tires, and right as they do that, we're going to go to break on Rev TV as well as Racetime Radio, Joe, and if you're on Shaw Spotlight, you're not going to miss a minute of the action.
So glad you could tune in tonight, live on Rev TV Canada. We are halfway in tonight's Western Rattler 300, live from Penticton Speedway. And if we got a barn burner, lots of cars on pit road, as a matter of fact, all of them. And let's throw it down to Todd Lewis. What do you got, Todd?
Well, I just spent the last 5 minutes or so walking up and down pit road just to do a little bit of a survey to see which drivers are going to change tires and who might be thinking, maybe I'll save them for a little later in the race. But so far, everybody is changing to 4 fresh tires during this mandatory pit stop and break. It is not required that you change tires at this time, but it looks like everybody is going to split this 300 lapper right in half. The Siebert cars, both of them as you're looking, the leader 09 of Riley Siebert up, already has the right side tires changed. They'll be working on the left side momentarily. Trevor Siebert as well, already up in the air, and those tires are being switched. It is required that if you're going to fuel the car, you do make the fuel stop during this caution period. That is the only time you're permitted to fuel the car, and that, of course, is what everybody is doing. It does not mean that you can't change tires again. If you decide that you want to maybe do it again later in the race, you're permitted, but you are limited to the number of tires that you are allowed during this race. You've got 8 tires that were inflated and ready to go for the race. those are the 8 that you run tonight. All right, with Riley Siebert, who is leading as we hit that halfway break. Riley, you sort of took over in the second quarter of this race. How do you approach the second half of the race?
You know, the car right now is just absolutely beautiful. It's a dynamite piece. I can conserve this thing all night long. I can rip those laps off all night long. So for me, it's about keeping every panel on this car absolutely clean. And we're going to have a really good run here if I keep all the fenders on it. And I don't think anybody's got anything for me unless they throw the kitchen sink at it. But, you know, we're feeling pretty good right now.
That is a very confident-sounding Riley Siebert, who will be the leader when we return back to green.
Okay, we're going back to green. I can't quite figure this out. But the 09 and 69 are at the back of the field, and they're showing at the front. I don't get it, but we'll continue on. The 42 of Kyle Reed appears as though he's got the lead.
Maybe they were too long in pit road, Joe. I don't know, it's weird, but that's what takes place, and Reed has the lead.
Kyle Reed out front, Matthew Shirley now the benefactor up in second. Jimmy White, the number 29, with the right side kind of flapping on the 29. Maybe they ran out of duct tape, but Matthew Shirley's going for the lead in turn number 3 up the inside of Kyle Reed as they come off at turn number 4 into 1 and 2, Brad.
Shirley dumps it down in. He's trying to go around the bottom, but he will get it done. He pulls up beside Reed down the backstretch for the lead.
Reed with a wiggle off at 2, and that allowed Shirley to get to the inside of him for the race lead as they will go toe-to-toe through 1 and 2 once again.
Shirley's car really gets upset. Reed pulls off a little bit on the backstretch. Give the advantage to Reed.
Those tires have got to heat up. We've only got 3 laps on them since we went back to green. How many laps does it take, Brad, to get the heat built?
Well, it's probably about 10, Joe, when you get it going, but these guys are going at it pretty good right off the get-go, so Reed and Shirley bumper to bumper. Reed puts it down in the bottom, leaves the outside for Shirley, but he can't get it done. Stevenson rides along in third.
Seems like Reed's car takes a few laps to get up to speed as Shirley was able to stick with him right after that restart. A whole gaggle of cars behind him. Jimmy White trying to hold off Darrell Horwath for the fourth position as they made a little bit of contact down the back straight. They'll get it straightened out. But Jimmy White into the pits in the 29 from Ford. Tough break for the 29.
And they're all bunched up 3 wide down here in 1 and 2. 51 has the back out of it. Oh, that was a close one to a mess. Right in front of Siebert, number 69.
And Riley Siebert is a man on the move as we get a shot of Kyle Reed, Matthew Shirley. Reed able to open up a gap as Todd Lewis is down in the pits with an update.
I'll give you the update on the 09 and the 69. It was a penalty because of the pit violation. They came in during the mandatory stop, but they touched the car before the horn sounded to allow teams to start work on the car. Everyone was supposed to come in. They were supposed to be given the signal, then to begin work. Both Siebert cars were touched early. They said they didn't do any work, but said that's the penalty. They said, all right, we'll go to the back. So Riley Siebert, who sounded so confident, is now going to put that 09 through his paces to get back to the front.
I don't want to hear anybody say that there's favoritism at this speedway with that. Man, that's a tough penalty to take, but they did it.
If anything, they're under more of a microscope in that situation, if that proves anything. As up front, Kyle Reed still leading the way as Matt Stephenson has worked his way up into third. A guy that we haven't talked about a whole lot, Daryl Mitchley in the 81 is up inside of the top 5. And Riley Siebert, we mentioned he was at the tail of the field. He is up into 5th already on a tear.
Look at the guy go as Mader goes down pit road. He has trouble. 164 complete. And look at the pace that Riley Siebert is on. But he's going to have to maintain it and keep it going. The 42, the 12, and the 1 are dead nuts flying around this speedway.
We got the 10-car Mader in the pit right by me. I don't know what's wrong. He took the window net down. So possibly the 10-car may be done for the night.
Riley Siebert has worked his way up to fourth around Darrell Midgley in the Northern Provincial Pipelines Dodge Charger, the 81 machine, as Siebert continues his charge up through the field as Matthew Shirley is closing back in on Kyle Reed as your leaders work their way off at turn number 4.
Meanwhile, Reed and Shirley will go at it. Reed jumps it in on the bottom. He gets good grip off. Shirley up outside, loses a little.
Todd Lewis, is that it for Maynard? The whole center, is he done?
Well, the window net is down. The hood has been removed from the front of the car, and everyone is staring with a forlorn look on their faces at that motor, shining a light on it, but nobody is really moving too quickly in terms of trying to diagnose that problem. Wes is still in the car, but nobody's really moving too quickly here.
Heartbreak for that number 10. He'll get it. One of the younger members, if you will, of this division. You got to have a page like this in your book in order to go out and have victory. 171 complete. The 42, Kyle Reed, is out front.
Matthew Shirley, though, is not fading fast, and in fact, for a few laps, he was right up on the bumper of Reed. Reed able to work through the lappers just a little bit better as he comes up on Adam Dowler in the 53 car to put him a lap down. Reed now taking a peek to the inside of him, but the top two are gone from the rest of the field.
Reed continues to lead down the backstretch. He opens up about a 4-car lead over Shirley. Comfortable lead. They're into lap traffic. Almost gets into the 53 coming off a 4, but he'll clear the 53 lap car on the backstretch.
We got to look at Riley Siebert, who's worked his way up to fourth. He's trying to close in on Matt Stephenson for the third spot, as Reed and the 12 of Shirley continuing to be the class of the field for the moment. Stephenson and Siebert going by as through 3 and 4 one more time. The 42 and the 12 going at it, and looks like Reed's having a tough time with Dowler.
Just like that, 176 laps complete of tonight's Western Rattler 300. All live from Penticton Speedway, right across Sirius XM, channel 167, Canada Talk. And of course, welcome to all of you tuned in on Red TV Canada.
And it's Chris Reed enjoying about a 4-car length of lead over Shirley. Looking back for the third place is Stevenson, but don't look now. Siebert has caught the tail end of Stevenson, and he's looking to take over that third spot. Under green, the 9 is on the move.
Riley Siebert with the bit between his teeth, and that thing is hooked up and flying as he tries to work his way to the inside of Matt Stephenson. Siebert, blue 3 and 4. You get a shot of it high above Penticton Speedway to the inside of the blue and yellow machine as your leaders head down the back straight into 3.
You would think that maybe Riley Siebert is burning the tires up, and the advantage you would have had from being out front, getting these sneakers on, Brad.
Well, I talked to the Sieberts earlier in the day. He's got a crate motor under that, Joe, so crate motor's not as hard on the tires, so it'll probably withstand, but it's certainly going to take some goodness out of them running as hard as he is. But the guys up front are running just as hard. Reed and Shirley aren't giving up anything. They're just going at it.
Yeah, they are battling like it is lap 298 or 299 out at the front, not concerned about saving anything. And neither is Riley Siebert, who has found his way back up to third as your leaders again coming off of turn number 4. There is Siebert going into 3 and 4. Stephenson back there in the 4th spot as they come by the start-finish line, Brad.
Well, certainly Siebert would be looking for a caution. That's one thing for sure. As he's about half a racetrack behind the leaders, but the leaders are not slowing down at all. They're picking their way through lap traffic. And at lap 185, Reed has about a 4-car lead over Shirley.
Kyle Reed still trying to hang on, and now actually extending his advantage over Reed a little bit. And it looks like coming off at 2 is where Matthew Shirley kind of gets him, but Reed better through 3 and 4. Just another case of the bumps kind of upsetting the race car.
Yeah, I would think so. You're right on there, Cole. Lap 187. And how about this? 51 makes it into the top 5. We haven't seen the 51 there all night.
Jared Bond, the defending West Car champion, and he is one of the guys giving up some of that horsepower, some of the brakes, bigger suspension, or lighter weight cars usually with the super lates, but the weight penalty with the super lates here this weekend. And the Westcar guys getting the break, and Jared Vaughn has worked his way inside of the top 5, and it's on a tear as well.
Meanwhile, Reed will cross the line and he'll lead lap 190. Surely about 4 car lengths back. Reed trying to get around the 81 lap car, having a little harder time. Surely closes up to the back bumper.
190 laps complete here at Penticton. The 42 car, Kyle Reed, Nova Scotia man. He is up front. The 12, Matthew Shirley, Saskatoon. He's right there, same as the 81.
Finally, Reed gets around the lap car of the 81. Shirley will follow him through. Put about a half a car length bumper between the two of them down the backstretch.
Off of turn number 4, Kyle Reed in the number 42, now heading down the back straight with Matthew Shirley stuck right with him this entire time as your leaders go through 3 and 4. Looking further back in the pack, Brandon Carlson, some of those guys are going to start catching them with lap traffic, and we'll see how Reed and Shirley handle getting through that, because with that lap traffic, you're not going to run your preferred line the entire time.
These guys at the front, Brad, are in a different area of code right now. Although the 09 is starting to come, the 42 and the 12 are all on their own right now.
They are, Joe, but lap traffic will slow them down a little bit, but then again, Siebert will have to get around the lap traffic also, so it's about an even swap back. They haven't seemed to change much difference. About a half a track length the leaders have on the 9 at Siebert that's in 3rd.
And I haven't noticed Kyle Reed's car sparking quite as badly as he gets held up a little bit by the number 15 machine trying to go around the outside of him. It was sparking really bad leading up into the halfway break, but the crew probably doing a few adjustments, making sure whatever was catching underneath of the 42 car was clear, and now Reed with no problems.
Sometimes, Brad, you'll have a drag like that, the body breaks, what have you, and eventually it'll stop sparking because you wear it half off.
Well, that's true if it is on the fender flare in the bottom could be that, but when I interviewed him, he talked about the sway bar weighing a little bit, so that would make sense with the tire going down that the sway bar would rub, but the crew chief Andrew on that's very shrewd, very smart. They made some adjustments at the brake, and it looks like they certainly hit on the right combination.
Andrew Hicken, Roland McDonald, that whole shop, the Cape Racing shop, they've been having great success. Austin McDonald out on the East Coast won himself a race in New Hampshire. We had him on the show just a couple of weeks ago. They're doing a great job running the Cars Tour. They're busy guys, Brad. When they see them running on the East Coast, and you see another one here running on the West Coast.
They certainly do, and they do some of the work on the 10-car. Mater also. I'm not sure, guys, but I thought I saw smoke coming out of the right rear of the 9-car last lap by you guys in the front coming off of 4.
We'll definitely take a look at that as Siebert is pushing hard to try and catch up with those two drivers, but Matthew Shirley and Kyle Reed getting around Brandon Carlson now with clear sailing for at least another lap or 2 before they catch up with the rest of the lap traffic as Riley Siebert is eating away. Oh, we got a spin into car around and backing it into the inside wall. That is Jason White the second time. The 3 has gone around coming off of turn number 2. I just saw it. He lost it himself and just collected the end of the Jersey barriers on the inside of the racetrack.
Yeah, he almost made that a perfect pirouette and just about landed right on pit road. No harm, no foul. Then he made a little bit of contact, but we have caution on lap 204 of tonight's 300. Brad, not 100 laps left in tonight's race.
Up 5. Talking to Trevor Siebert earlier, it's just, you got to get through the first 150. You don't want to go a lap down, but you don't want to run too hard either. Riley Siebert was really pushing that 09 to get back towards the front. Trevor was methodical and didn't push quite as hard, but look, now he finds himself in 5th place, a little over 90 laps to go. Maybe he has a better car at the end of the race.
Shirley off at turn number 4. Field under control of the 42 car. Reed stomps on the lap pedal. We're green.
42 gets a good start, but Shirley's right there, side by side. They'll shove it down. Shirley's going to follow in to get second. Meanwhile, Siebert's going to go for third down the backstretch.
Trevor Siebert to the inside of Matt Stephenson for 4th. Riley Siebert took a peek to the inside of Matthew Shirley in the 12 car for the second spot as they head down the back straight. Siebert in the 09 and Shirley in the 12 side by side for second with Reed out in the lead.
Siebert's got that car completely sideways coming off a 4, but he's going to get around Shirley on the backstretch. Siebert the second.
Riley has definitely been up on the wheel. It'll be interesting to see if he's got enough tires here as the laps wind down to how hard he has been driving in that 09 car as Kyle Reed, another guy that went to the back and worked his way up to the front, continues to set the pace around Penticton Speedway.
208 laps complete of tonight's 300. The 42 of Reed looked a little loose that time, Brad, off turn 2. I don't know whether the car's changing or whether he's just trying to float it through and try to conserve those tires.
Well, he is a little loose getting up off a 2, but he's been shoving it pretty deep into 1, Joe, and it's been washing up a little bit, and Siebert is getting there to his back bumper, but he's also loose.
Riley Siebert is up on the wheel. Look at how much he pulls on Kyle Reed through 3 and 4. Reed up high, Siebert down low. Trevor Siebert going for third just out of the shot with Matthew Shirley as they head down the back straight. Reed slips up. Here comes Riley Siebert for the race lead in the 3 and 4 Joe as they come off at turn number 4. Siebert right there.
Here we go, fans. 212 laps in. Look at this for a race.
Siebert is on the back bumper of the 42, but he puts it completely sideways, coming off a 4. Meanwhile, Trevor Siebert has slipped up by Shirley, and he's into third.
Here comes Riley again in the 09, stalking the 42 car, and he's biding his time right now because he has the pace to get around that 42 of Kyle Reed as Reed chops down low to try and cut off that inside lane.
Riley really gets a good run up off a 2. He just motors up off a 2. He gets to the back bumper, but Reed will pull him back off. They go down, Reed pinches it down on the bottom. Riley will pull him going down the back stretch. He's there, he's inside him.
Wow, what a burst of energy coming off turn 4. It's still Kyle Reed with the lead. 4 now.
Kyle Reed washes up the racetrack and Riley goes around him for the lead.
Here comes Reed back to the inside, but Siebert's going to clear him off at turn number 4. Riley Siebert from the back to the front in the 09 car trying to drive away. And Dad Trevor is going to join the party in the 69 in third. He's closing in on Reed, trying to make it an happy on Motorsports Lake Excavating 1-2.
As that car got some power. Man, Brad, man, it's set up perfect. You got a good pilot behind the wheel.
He does, Joe, but the way he arcs the corner of 1 and 2, he sort of diamond cuts it, and then he just really accelerates off of 2. That's where you notice the difference.
Well, they have that thing hooked up so it runs over the bumps, and that's that Penticton Speedway experience. You see Kyle Reed in the 42. When he comes off at 2, the car almost jumps up 2 lanes when the back end steps out, but Riley Siebert just motors on through every time he hits the bumps.
Oh, it's Siebert in lap traffic, followed by Reed. They'll go around Jason White. And it's the second Siebert car back behind, sitting in third, Shirley fourth. Now there's a race for the 5th spot.
You know, I was talking with Trevor there. Yeah, big race for the 5th spot developing between Matt Stephenson in the 1 car and the 34 Daryl Howard as they head down the back straight. Oh, problems almost in front of your leaders. They'll get by the number 15 machine that's slow on the front straight as Stephenson almost went up the back of him. Tony Terrence with problems in the 15 slowing to bring out the yellow flag in this one.
Yeah, it could have been a big crash on the front stretch. They were going by the inside, outside. And
as the field forms up behind that beautiful Avion Motorsports Penticton pace car that is going to hurry up and get down pit road, cars are all doubled up, all the way front to back, coming back to the green flag.
They get a good jump, Reed side by side with Siebert. They'll dump it down in the corner, but Siebert's going to pull him off the backstretch. Reed will settle into second, but the other Siebert car's lurking around in third.
Riley Siebert, the 09, still sitting side by side with the 42 of Kyle Reed. Reed giving up now. Siebert's going to clear him. Here comes Trevor to the inside of the 42 car, and the 69 trying to make it once again a Siebert family 1-2 as they go into 1 and 2.
Dig. The 69 in the bottom of the racetrack down here in 3-4. He's looking up the inside of the 42 for that second spot.
They touch coming out of Jewel Reed and Trevor Siebert get together. They'll gather it back up. Meanwhile, Reed will hold on to second, but Trevor's looking to take it from him in third.
Jared Bond, the 51, one of the West Car competitors, to the inside of Matthews. Shirley in that 51 machine for the fourth spot, as maybe Bond has some tires left over from that 51 car with a little bit less horsepower and a little bit less weight as they come off of turn number 4.
Bound into turn 2, it's still Siebert leading. Reed set second. Trevor Siebert looking for third.
Jared Bond still working the inside, Joe, and that's maybe a situation where Jared saves some tires as Trevor Siebert still unable to get through Kyle Reed. Reed looks like he's better through 3 and 4, and Siebert hasn't been able to pick him off in 1 and 2 yet.
You're right. Saving is one thing, but you're going to have to start to use it, because I'll tell you what, Riley Siebert is checking out. He enters turn number 3 and 4. 5th place. He's just coming off 4 now.
Meanwhile, Shirley are running 4th. Back behind, he's about 4 car lengths back behind Trevor Siebert. They've spread the gap a little bit as Reed pulls about 2 car lengths. They'll settle down and ride there for now, as there's still 70 laps to go here. Meanwhile, the leader up front is setting a torrid pace.
Riley Siebert, definitely the class of the field at the moment in the 09. Again, coming from the back to the front and trying to lock this one down. But we saw this in the street stock race. Billy Coles went from the back to the front again and then didn't wind up the winner. There's still a long way to go for Riley Siebert.
You know what? That has happened in every race so far this weekend at Penticton. If you have led this race, I mean late in the race, Bradman has almost been a jinx.
It has been, Joe, the leader of the races ever since we've been here. Didn't win the race. Tonight was the first time, I believe, 67, the street stock led the race and actually won it. But last night, everybody was leading the race, ended up getting in trouble, and the third place guy ended up being the winner.
Oh, Mark Barrio coming to the final lap, heading into 3-4. Disaster broke out on lap 99. He rolled his late model here at Penticton. Tough deal. Mark, we're thinking about you. I know you're here listening in. Hell of a run you had yesterday, bud, but 237 complete. Riley Siebert, a commanding lead. The 42 of Kyle Reed, followed by the 69 of Trevor Siebert, back to the 12 of Matthew Shirley.
Meanwhile, the leaders are getting into lap traffic. Reed will go around the 53. Trevor Siebert, 4 cars back. Shirley, 4 cars back of him. And Bond sits in the 5th spot.
As they flash down the front stretch, the 9 car looking real good, still stable as he goes through turns 3-4, back to the line, and he completes 240 laps, 60 more circuits, Brad.
Reed drives around Jason White's lap car. That White slows on the back of Trevor, which went underneath him, almost got into the back. Now the front 3 leaders have the racetrack clear for a few laps before they run onto some more lap cars.
Brad, big battle between the 42 and 69 just a few laps ago. Both of them running as hard as they did when they heated those tires. Superheated them, if you will. How long does it take to chill them back off when you see what the guys are doing now? They've separated out, they're content, they're running. Is that what they're doing? Maybe settling the tires down.
They will be, and I think what you're going to see here in the last 50 is that the 42 and the 69 is going to turn it up And I'm not so sure the 9 hasn't burned up most of his tires, running hard up front because the 42 has closed the gap.
Oh, yeah. Over the last 10, 15 laps, just 10 ago, Riley Siebert had a real commanding lead. And right now, that lead has evaporated to, let's say, 4 or 5 car lengths back to the 42. About the same 3, 4 car lengths back to Trevor Siebert. There is your top 3. About the same distance, but the lead is straight.
One of two things, Joe. He's either ran the tires off it or he's decided to back up. Reed gets into the wall on the front stretch on that lap. Be interested to see what happens to the car here in the dying laps.
247 complete. Oh my, from Penticton Speedway. It's the Western Rattler 300. All live, Sirius XM, Channel 167, Canada Talk, and about it live on FTV Canada.
Working their way.
Reed has definitely hurt that race car as he's slowing. He's got into the front wall and he has lost some of the momentum. Trevor is almost Siebert's almost at his back bumper again, and there was a lot of gap between the two of them.
Riley now also coming up on lap traffic. He's got the 81, 8, and the 19 of Corbin Thomas that he's got to negotiate around right now. Brad, 3 real good cars.
3 good cars up front, and I would say that Trevor Siebert has saved something, and you'll see the 69 start to close the gap as a wily veteran that's maybe saved his tires.
And Kyle Reed isn't falling back as far as we've seen some of the second place runners. He's actually keeping pace with Siebert as Siebert's kind of mired in the lap traffic at the moment as he goes to the inside of Corbin Thomas. In the 19 car, Kyle Reed still with Trevor Siebert, though, putting the pressure on him for the second spot. Matthew Shirley holding down 4th. Jared Vaughn for the Westcar boys running in 5th.
Less than 50 laps to go. We're at lap 254 complete right now. You got less than 50 laps, Brad.
Kyle Reed washes up after 2, almost gets into the 8 car. Finally he gets by, but here comes Trevor underneath the 42 of Reed. He'll give him the spot. Reed goes back under him down the backstretch. They go door handle to door handle.
Yeah, Siebert put a donut mark right in the side of the 42 of Reed and gets the spot. Now it is once again a Siebert family 1-2, but Reed is not going to give up that spot to Siebert easy, and he did not really appreciate how he got door slammed going into 1.
Reed a little better in 1 and 2 than what Siebert is as Reed dives in the bottom. He's there. Siebert washes up the racetrack. There's a lap car in front of them. Siebert will settle into 2nd.
Reed creeping up along the inside of Siebert as he's stuck behind the lapper of Corbin Thomas. Riley Siebert out in front in that 53 into 09 machine trying to get around the 53 of Adam Dowler as Trevor Siebert still stuck behind the lapper of Corbin Thomas.
Just 40 circles.
3 wide on the backstretch. Reed, Siebert, and to lap car Thomas. That was a close one.
Absolutely. And the 69 of Siebert gets that 2nd spot. But the 42 of Kyle Reed, he ain't going nowhere.
No, he's not. He's not happy with how he got that 2nd spot, and I'm not sure he's not going to pay him back. As they run bumper to bumper, Reed dives in the bottom. Jason White, the lap car up outside, Reed on the inside. He loses a little grip on the back.
Reed dive bombs his way into their muscle. Siebert out for the spot in the 42. And Kyle Reed back up to 2nd and with a little bit of a give and take maneuver, a thank you and goodbye as he drives up to 2nd and leaves Siebert back in 3rd.
Meanwhile, up front, the leader has opened quite a gap as these two have been racing hard in the back. At lap 263, he has a comfortable lead here.
Riley Siebert, yeah, now he's in ghost mode as Dad continues his battle with the 42 of Kyle Reed. And maybe a little bit of smoke I saw coming out of Reed there, but Reed not pulling away from Trevor Siebert. As you can see, the 2nd and 3rd place cars on the drone shot here of the broadcast coming off of turn number 4 and going into 1 and 2 right now, Brad.
Well, Reed dives in the bottom. He gets through a better 1 and 2 than what Siebert does. Siebert seems to get better through 3 and 4, so that's been the trade-off so far from what I've seen down here in 1 and 2.
Kyle Reed back up to second, and as this battle continues on, Riley Siebert is just running away in the 09, and if he's got this big of a lead, now he can start to kind of feather it and pad that advantage in that 09. As he goes to the inside of Brandon Carlson to put him a lap down, coming off of turn number 4. Riley Siebert out in front, Brad.
He is, and the only thing that can stop things now is a late caution, and that would be some interesting with about 20 to go or so to see who's got most patience, but so far Riley Siebert's coasting away pretty easy.
Seems like everybody can stick with him on the restart for a lap or two, so if there is that late race yellow, that'll probably be a lot of these guys' only opportunity to get at the 09, but Kyle Reed back around Trevor Siebert for second, and they are unable currently to close the gap to Riley Siebert, who is a full straightaway ahead of the Brad.
And it looks like Kyle Reed is stretching the gap from Trevor Siebert about 5 car lengths, as they had been running bumper to bumper, so it looks like Kyle Reed with 29 to go is stretching it out, and he sits solidly in second place.
You want a long green flag run? Well, we got it right here at Penticton. The 09 to Trevor Siebert, or Riley Siebert, my pick, to win the race, is doing fantastic. Floats it off turn 4 back to the stripe, and he's on a Sunday drive on a Saturday night, Brad.
They are so, and the top 5 are pretty solid where they're running, so there's a bunch of car lengths between them all, so nothing happening bumper to bumper here, but Kyle Reed has opened up about a 5 car length advantage over Trevor Siebert. Riley Siebert is way up front. He's opened up almost half a racetrack, so unless there's a late caution, and here it is, the caution we talked about.
Jason White in the 3 car matching his number with his 3rd spin. Unfortunately, of the evening, it's been a tough night for Jason, and still soldiering on, though. He's going to try and finish these 300 laps.
You know what? I learned something about Jason White tonight. When he spins, he loves planting his foot to the floor. He gets that car zipped around. I seen him do that at Penticton Speedway.
They go. Reed gets a good jump. Riley Siebert a fight back in the bottom, but Reed got a really good jump on the start. He's going to settle into second on the bottom. Trevor Siebert looking for the spot.
Coming off at turn number 4, Riley's, spinner in the back. 14 car, Brandon Carlson does a 360, and the yellow's up. Brandon did get it back going, but the yellow flag was already out as further on back in the pack, kind of getting jammed up after that restart. Brandon Carlson and I believe Corbin Thomas may be getting together. Maybe it's somebody else as Brandon tries to sort his way back up through the pack.
I was going to hit a break, but you know what? I can't. The action is too intense.
So the restart, Siebert gets a jump, Reed gets a really good jump, he's going to lead him down into turn 1. Siebert fights back, he's on the inside, he's going to power him down the backstretch.
Side by side through 3 and 4 for the first 6 rows as they come off of turn 4. Kyle Reed going to try and take the lead. He is going to clear Siebert coming off at 2, but Riley Siebert with a run back to the inside of him. A late braking contest through 3 and 4. Reed on the outside, Siebert on the inside. Coming to you, Brad Mann.
They touch on the front stretch, they go bumper to bumper. Reed drives it down. Siebert drives it up underneath him, going down the backstretch side by side.
Siebert, you can see him pull on Reed going into 3. Reed coming back around the outside, and he's going to try and keep Siebert pinched right down onto that white line, right where those bumps are as they work their way into 3 again. Siebert trying to clear Reed. Reed tucks in the line as they come off of 4.
Siebert back to the lead, the 42.
Siebert, Reed gets into him, he has to back off, and the other Siebert takes the spot away. Reed had to back off or he would have sent Siebert around.
Trevor Siebert now up to second. He's going to try and track down his son Riley for the race lead. And Kyle Reed.
Kyle Reed drives it in deep. Has to back off again or he would have been spun him around. They're not leaving nothing on the table. Top 3 going at it.
Don't look now. 280 laps complete. Here comes the 12 of Matt Shirley in that fourth spot. I don't think he's showing his full hand.
Trevor Siebert, don't look now. Riley Siebert is also closing in. Dad trying to track down his son for the race lead, and what a battle that would be for the first and second spots as Trevor Siebert looking out the front windshield of his 69 car at his fellow Lake Excavating machine as they head down the back straight. And Riley able to get a good run coming off of turn number 2 through 3 and 4 towards you, Brad Mann.
They do. It's Riley going to lead his father down into the corner. Reed is sitting in third. Shirley trying to close on the back bumper. Reed. That's the top three going down the backstretch with 17 to go.
We'll see if Shirley could maybe swindle third place out of Kyle Reed. Reed's car not handling all the best as Shirley is starting to eat away at him as Reed, who's been fighting the exit of 2 the entire race, continues to have the back end step out on him, but no problems for Riley Siebert. Joe.
Daryl Orthon is looking really good in the 34 car. Horvath is really starting to come on in that Pubs car.
That was last night's winner in the 34 car. He inherited the win late, so obviously he's figured it out last night, and he's closing in on the back bumper of Shirley.
Riley Siebert continuing to set a torrid pace at the front of the field now, having to pick his way through lap traffic. They'll give him plenty of room as he pulls another gap, almost a straightaway advantage over his father. Matthew Shirley coming in and going to the inside of Kyle Reed, making a little bit of contact. You saw Reed able to straighten it up as they go through 1 and 2.
And you want a top 5 in this race if you can get it. Right now, 289 laps complete with the 9 of Siebert. Riley Siebert out front. Dad is in tow in 69. That's Trevor.
Reed sits in third. Shirley trying to track him down about 2 car lengths back. That's the race on the racetrack. 2 Seabirds up front with lots of room. Shirley closes up on the back bumper of Reed. Down through 1 and 2. 1 car length difference. Shirley looking for third. 10 to go.
Riley Siebert running away with it, but again, Matthew Shirley putting the pressure on the 42 of Kyle Reed. Daryl Howard right there as well in the 34 as Riley Siebert looking for that $10,000 payday as he heads into 1 and 2.
The 42 of Reed back in that third spot in the 12 of Shirley. That's where the battle is right now for that third spot. Both want to be on the podium and throw the 34 into the mix. He sticks his hand up. Daryl says, don't forget about me. I got to be in that top 3. As the 92 hits pit road.
Yeah, Logan Jewell problems right in front of your leader. He gets to the safety of pit road. We will stay green. Siebert will have clear sailing here for another lap or so, but he's catching up to the tail end of the field as he works his way into turns 3 and 4, but still a comfortable margin over Dad Trevor.
Shirley getting off turn 2 really good, giving Reed a handful. With 5 to go, it's the 2 Seabirds up front. Reed holding on to third, but he's got company right on the back bumper on the backstretch.
Matthew Shirley helping Kyle Reed down the back straight in the number 12 machine. As Riley Siebert would hate to see a yellow right now with 3 laps to go at the start-finish line. He is on his way to the race win with Trevor Siebert back there in second. Shirley and Reed still going at it for third. Into turn number 3 goes Riley Siebert off of 4. 2 laps to go for the 09 machine. Trevor Siebert in second. The home track experience on this reconfigured racetrack paying dividends for Siebert as he heads into 3 one final time. And off of 4, the white flag is out. 1 to go as he heads through 1 and 2, Joe.
And it's Trevor Siebert bringing it up, but in second. Riley Siebert off turn 4. He comes to the checkered flag. He is your winner of the Western Rattler 300.
Riley Siebert the winner. Trevor Siebert the 69 in second. The 42 of Kyle Reed in third. Matthew Shirley the 12 in fourth. 34 Dave Howarth bringing it home in the 5th position as Riley Siebert rolling her onto the front straight, brings it around to the flag stand to celebrate with the fans here at Penticton Speedway. $1 to win Western Rattler 300, and it's donut time.
Unbelievable race here tonight at Penticton Speedway. Unbelievable weekend. And capping it off with this big win, Riley Siebert. He celebrates at home. There is one happy driver in behind the wheel of that 09 car. Watch the 42.
Oh, no, I think we're going to enjoy the celebrations of Riley Siebert. Treating the fans to a few donuts on the front stretch and coming around through turns 3 and 4, and now the team makes their way over to offer congratulations as well. We talked to him at the midway point of the race, and he said, yeah, this car is unbelievable. It is on rails. It is the best car here, and as long as we can keep the body panels on it, we should be up front and be able to lead the rest of the way. Well, that Chip, and gives his crew a hug for giving him such a terrific car, and the father and son embrace, of course. Riley, the smile says it all, but you said at the midway point you had the best car. You had to really prove it in the second half of the race, starting a little further back.
Well, I didn't want to say it in the interview, but I knew we lifted the car too soon, and I didn't want to put it out on the PA, hoping maybe nobody noticed, but unfortunately everybody noticed. And we got to go to the back and try the whole thing again, and I was a little cocky in the Facebook post and the release saying that this is my house and you're not coming here to push me around, and luckily I backed it up. So this is probably the biggest win of my career. So this is one of the best nights of my life. This is awesome.
This is an enthusiastic Riley Siebert. There's going to be a big check that's coming your way shortly, and how special is it as well to win the first Western Rattler 300?
Oh, to be on that trophy now for the rest of it, and not only to finish 1-2 with Dad, it's amazing because, he's got some late race tricks if he gets to a restart outside of me that I'm still learning and stuff like that. Even at 30 years old, I still haven't learned all his tricks yet. So I was praying and praying and praying, please don't throw a yellow, because I have him covered under green. I just don't know about the restart. So I'm glad that it was a long green flag run at the end there and worked out for me.
Riley Siebert brings it home, your winner here at Penticton Speedway.
Incredible run for that 09 car. Radman, this guy would fit the IWK 250. Wouldn't it be cool to see that 09 make the trip to the IWK 250? Wouldn't that be a feather in the cap? Get this one and be good enough to score one out there.
Well, it definitely would be, Joe, and the IWK is a prestige event in Eastern Canada, so the invite's out there. Riley, this is his house. Well, bring your house back to the East Coast and we'll see what you got.
Well, I'll tell you what, this was the IWK of the West Coast. This is incredible to see. What a race here tonight, Cole. Doesn't get any better than what we just witnessed. Down there on pit road.
We'll let father and son share this moment in celebration just for a second, and we'll grab Trevor for a quick word as we wrap things up. So he said he didn't get a chance to use all your tricks on him, and he was happy about the green flag run, but talk about a very strong run for you here at Penticton Speedway and the success of this event.
Well, first thing I always want to do is thank the fans. I thank everyone from the Okanagan Valley, wherever you traveled from, coming out and supporting this event. We're going to do it every year. Crowd's going to get bigger, the field's going to get bigger, and so big round of applause. Thank you for coming out and cheering us on. I hope we put on a good show for you guys. I know it's cold. Next year we're bringing in hotter weather for you as well. But what a fun night. 300 laps, about lap 100. I thought I already did 300, but as the race went on, I actually got more relaxed. I had nothing for Riley. I thought maybe I did. Maybe on a restart I would have taught him one last thing that I haven't taught him, but didn't get that opportunity to do that, and I just couldn't get close to him. I had nothing left there, and I'm so proud of him and the team. They worked really hard on these cars. We had a little mess up in the pits there when we came in, and we had to go to the back and just kind of made it fun for the evening. So, thanks.
Congratulations on a great run and a great event.
Unbelievable. Trevor, also a dynamite job. You want to talk about a busy guy, Brad, man. That Trevor Siebert and his whole family, they've been non-stop, foot to the floor. I know he just ran 300 laps here at Penticton, but I'll tell you, the work has been ongoing here since they took over at the beginning of last year.
It certainly has been, Joe, and I mean, they were here working. Whenever we come in, they never ever stopped working, really.
The third finisher on the podium, Kyle Reed, led some laps tonight, looked strong, really gave Riley all you could handle on that final restart as well.
Yeah, these guys are great to race with. The facility here is great. You know, they worked their butts off all week. We got here Thursday, they were still working on it. Hats off to these guys, hats off to the fans, everybody to come out to watch this. For the first race, you know, it's something to really build off of. A lot of good guys here. I can't thank all the guys that helped us this weekend. My father, my brother, the whole family. We had lots of people back east, Jordan, Frank, the whole crew. And yeah, we had some obstacles. We cut a right front early. We wore the bottom of the sway bar off, so that changed things drastically. And yeah, come back up through and got to race with these two guys, and that was a lot of fun. And so yeah, it's a good time.
Congratulations, great run. Look forward to having you back again next year.
For the first annual Western Rattler 300, we thank every member of the broadcast team, from Joe up here in the booth, myself, Todd Lewis, and Brad Mann down there pit side as well. We say thank you from viewing and good night from Penticton Speedway.
And we'll see you later, Rev TV.